the stream is live.
All right, guys. Welcome to Authors and Adventures. I am your host, Michael Roberti. I will be playing Ishta Majid. Was that actually, Gregory, was that correct at all?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Ishta Majid, a paladin that will be adventuring today. Below me, we have our good friend Bill, another Wraith collaborator. Bill, tell us about yourself and your character.
I am an author, if you didn't know that. I have only played D&D once in my life, and that was the first episode of this show a couple months ago. So I'm sorry to everybody who is in this game and in this chat and then on this stream. And I'm playing Frida Fire's daughter, and I think I'm just here to take a beating.
Excellent. Well, we will see what happens. And Dave Lawson is below Bill. Dave, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you've been working on, and a little bit about your character.
Hi, I'm Dave. I am also an author, and my novel, The Envoys of War, comes out here in a little bit less than 2 months. So I'm pretty excited about that. I do have.
Very nice. Oh, had it at the ready too. Perfect.
Nice. Awesome.
You know, I was ready. I know whenever you get on a stream, you have a copy of the book nearby. I've played D&D quite a bit. My favorite thing to do while playing D&D is cause chaos. So I'm pretty sure my character is going to flirt with Bill's at some point. I mean, it's probably going to happen.
Well, we all want to see that. And then we have Greg, GJ, Terral.
Hey, I am also an author. Big surprise. And my character's name that I haven't pronounced correctly one time. Let's see if I can get it. Ifricates.
Iphicrates. So close.
Iphicrates.
So far.
Geez, man. It's funny because I keep thinking about it, and it's gonna bug me this whole time. But unless I speak in a third person, which I'm assuming I won't be, this might be the last time I have to say my own character's name.
That is good point.
Very fortunate.
Bloodwoven released in May. And if things go well, book 2, which I'm doing a title reveal for on the 1st, should be coming out in November, but we'll see.
Excellent. Well, that is exciting to hear. And then we have the one, the only Gregory Wunderlin up above me. He is our DM for this evening. Gregory, tell us a little bit about yourself, this world, and the adventure we will be partaking in.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. I'm Gregory. The first thing I apologize for is I cannot get my camera to not bathe me in apparently angelic light right now. So witness how white I am.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, you like it now. You'll realize it's not angelic by the end of this. So I am also an author. Surprise. I am also a professional dungeon master / game master. I do this for a living, so this should be a good time. I'm also a TTRPG designer. It's kind of what I do all the time. So this adventure is it's called Whispers of the Void, which is based off of a little bit of a portion of my book, The Soul of Chaos, which I too have it nearby. Whoa, look at that. You can't see it because of the glare, but it's a book. So that is, that's who I am. That's what we're doing. So today this is going to be based off of some characters in the book that you get very briefly. So this kind of gives them a little bit of a backstory because the book occurs after this event would have occurred. So this is something that actually would have been kind of like an indirect prequel to events in the book and are directly related to them, especially with why those characters show up in the book and what exactly they're doing when they show up. So it should hopefully be a little exciting.
I am very excited. That's actually what I did too, is I picked a random point and did a little bit of a prequel. And I got to say, I'm a little bit embarrassed. I don't even have a copy of my own book in this house. I have fallen down on the job, and I am really, really ashamed. But we have
You're just selling all the copies. That's what it is.
Well,
That's
I wish. I honestly very rarely sell them out of my own. I'm very bad at this, but I just do things and see what happens. And you know what? That's what we're doing tonight. We have authors, we have adventures, and let's get this started.
Hell yeah. Okay, so one quick thing I'm going to do, and this is going to be a little PSA for anyone that uses Roll20. This is going to help you guys out so much when you are manipulating your tokens, which everyone should be able to see on the world map that you're looking at right now. So
Yep.
if you click on, like I said, I was doing this before, left click and hold the left click on your token, you should be able to drag it around. Don't drop it. While you're holding your token, right click and a magical arrow will appear that is yellow. That will tell you the amount of feet
Ooh.
that your character is moving. So if you're worried about moving distances or getting that right, that arrow is your best friend ever. And there will be more Roll20 PSAs this entire time. So get ready to learn a whole lot that you didn't care about in the first place.
I care.
I don't know that I can do it with my
Care.
laptop, but you know what? That's just going to allow me to cheat better, so I'm good with it.
Let's go for it. I'm all about cheating. As long as I don't catch it, you nailed it. So that's
Perfect.
always appreciate a good cheater. Right? Bad cheaters, get your shit together. But good cheaters, I'm on your side.
All right, so
Unless-
start us off, sir.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Alrighty then. So we're going to start off here with a little bit of an introduction as to our current situation. You are all holy paladins of the Order of Fading Dawn, led by Pontifex Aluntir as a vanguard against the unyielding corruption of the Void and its horrific denizens. When last you left the Holy Isle of Ecclesia, your fearless devout leader seemed consumed, hell-bent on pursuing every last facet of corruption present upon the continent of Phallus. For the last year, you've plunged the depths of the lowlands, scaled the highest peaks of Veldanan, and traveled the western wastes, embittered against the freezing chill and monstrous waste spawn that plague the very edges of the world. And now, your path takes you to the ancient valley of Kyrun. When you awoke this morning, you found no sign of the Pontifex, your makeshift camp eerily still amidst a lingering fog. On a day like this, only a fool would venture into the unknown. But the whispers in the back of your mind made one thing clear. Your inaction would lead to Aluntir's end. And what is a paladin of the Sunstar without the loyalty to their Pontifex? Chased by the terror of expanding static, Iphicrates leads the party through this new nightmare, your combined might scouring aside illusions in the dark and towering effigies of stone that infest the valley. Day turns to night, and you find yourselves at the base of an elevated lighthouse, its luminescence brought upon by runic enchantments and what can only be sacrilegious technology. There's no doubt in your mind, as you glimpse the roving shadows of scattered rock and uneven hills, this is the place you seek, and only death lies within. And that is where we're going to go ahead and get started. Quick shout out to Seppaku for the scenes maps that they provide. This is a bought and paid for scene for my usual games. As all of you are currently standing at the base of this mist-ridden hill, the four of you glimpsing up upon what is very obviously a terribly powerful enchantment cast upon this light seeding into the very air itself. So this is where I love to say, what would all of you like to do?
Well, that's not good looking. Let's see. Don't have...
It's almost as not good looking as you, mate.
Okay, well,
The accents are perfect.
unnecessary, but here we are. So
Do we want to describe our characters a little bit here for our watchers to kind of know?
Yeah, that's probably a
going
good
on?
idea.
Okay. So let's here. I'll give you guys. Do you guys want to do it, or you want me to give you a little bit of a primer here?
Whatever you prefer.
Okay.
Either or.
I'll make it quick because some of these guys are seeing these characters for the very first time, so they're trying to figure out through it. So first we have, which I'm going to put on the screen here, is Isha Majid, played by Mike here, who is one of our frontliner, who is using the class of a warlord, who is a unique third-party class that is all about cutting things into pieces with her mega greatsword. She is the party's lead damage-dealing badass. Then we have Corvic Liness. Corvic is from the country of Ilvikar, one of our big focuses here. He is actually a noble scion, but he decided to leave his past behind in service of the church. He is what's referred to as a Hierophant, which is basically a super-powered cleric, albeit with less high-powered spells, a lot more spells. Then we have Frida Fiersdottir, who is from the mysterious country of Sovgaliad. She is here as a shield maiden, ready to stand in front and tank all of the most terrible things that the void throws at you. And then we have Iphicrates, the man himself, somewhat mysterious, known from the wetlands, specifically a city referred to as Mercenia, who knows just about everything there is to know about anything, albeit he's not nearly as able to take punishment as the others, so he's a little bit best served in the back. You can see their little tokens. Yes, also played by Greg. Frida played by Bill, and then Corvic played by Dave over here. And yeah, so that's our crew. As far as what's going to happen to them, we'll see. And you can see a little bit of their visuals on that screen there. So, with that said, why don't we continue?
I know what this lighthouse is. Right? Like, I would have an idea, at least.
So, this is, yeah, if you go ahead and roll me a history check to see what kind of information you would know about this lighthouse. Nailing it with that 18. So, for those of you not familiar with 5th edition, 18 is a great roll. That shows a lot of proficiency in this. So, Iphicrates, you would know very specifically that this is one of the many Kyrunian towers. A lot of these towers are inhabited by singular, very powerful magisters or archmages. These are very dangerous people that the world tends to not want to get involved with, as they usually mess up quite a bit and can kind of fly off their handle on a moment's notice. They're known for messing around with what's called rune tech or rune technology, which is very super powerful magic. On top of messing around with the void, which is known as basically hell in this realm, where all demons and devils sort of hail from.
Right, so that is potentially our objective, and if it's not our main objective, because we are paladins, we want to deal with that regardless, right? So I think you sort of said that we were looking for our Pontifex initially?
Yes, Pontifex Aluntir, who is essentially the leader of your order, a very powerful spellcaster and member of the faith.
Right. So we were searching for them, and all of a sudden we found this tower that we know is obviously probably not up to any good. So I say we're going to take care of it.
Well, then lies the question.
Anybody have any suggestions on the best way? So you said that there's runes along it, like we can see the magic at play, the void runes. No.
So these are basically standard magical runes. Okay. So a lot of the magic in this setting is manifest via runes that are carved into various surfaces. Yeah, creating these magical effects.
Yes. Okay. So do we get a feeling as we approach? I'm assuming everyone's fine approaching it. I think I'm sort of the leader, so even if they're not fine, like I'm saying, come on, boys, or come on, people, we're going. Do I get a sense of any sort of anything in the air that it makes me feel like we might have an issue, some sort of magical trap, an essence, anything like that?
Oh yeah, you have been stalked all day by these strange sort of whispers that are coming out of the fog, which all of you would know with your constant exposure to is very much a trick of what's called void spawn, to essentially lure people into and kind of make them lose their minds a little bit, so they can ripen them up for whatever their machinations may be. So this place is incredibly dangerous. You can expect shenanigans, to say the least.
All right. Here's how we're going to do it. I think Frida, you should absolutely take the lead. Get in front with your zealous energy. And then I think I'm just gonna hang out back here, while you guys march. But I will stay within 10 feet so that everybody gets my presence buff.
Nailing the character. Love that.
Well, it's all right. I love watching Frida walk in front of me,
Oh, damn.
Corvic,
So
we've talked about this.
Are we supposed to actually move the characters?
Currently not yet. No, we are currently doing what's called Theater of the Mind, where you have your little lighthouse image in front of you, and this is where you just kind of tell me your actions, and I'll narrate what happens. Once we get into an actual, you'll see, I'll change the map, and you'll be able to see your characters and move around.
Got it. Thank you. Yeah, I'll stay in front with my axes. I have axes, right?
Oh yeah, you have a very thick shield. Yeah, so you have your Sov-Gallet axe, which is essentially a massive bearded axe that you're able to wield in one hand. So it's a big boy that can do some real damage. And you also have a shield. Yeah, you have a shield that's basically emblazoned with what appears to be a great worm of some kind, almost draconic in its manner, that has blue and white sort of sigils around it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. So Frida takes the lead. Iphicrates very intelligently stays in the back. And then what's going on with Corvic and Ishta here?
Ishta is going to come up beside Corvic as Frida walks by. Corvic, do we need to go over this again? We have had so many compliance trainings on how to treat our fellow paladins. Frida may be attractive, yes, but you have to stay in center court. And then I'm going to walk on by and walk close to Frida.
Of course, she likes it.
I have no response to that. I'm going to keep walking.
You know, I'm going to go ahead for encouraging sexual harassment training. Ishta, you're going to go ahead and get inspiration for that.
Hell yeah.
Remember, all the men watching, we just say no.
This is like an after-school special.
I do not support Corvic in this moment here.
Separate the character.
Yeah, you have to separate the
like,
art from the artist.
Keeping an actual 5 feet of distance from Corvic at this point, kind of like, we're good.
Let's
Perfect.
go back and
Nailing
Corvic
it.
said, "Sorry, I'm sorry about that. I won't do it again."
Right.
Yeah, I don't think I want to
Corvic, can you roll
protect
me?
Corvic anymore, even though he's a healer.
Corvic, I'm going to need a deception check from you with that particular lie of which you have just spoken. Party. And you know what? It doesn't matter how high you roll. They all know you fail. Okay. So as a group, nice. Nailing it with that 6. There's no heart. There's no heart in it. So as, of course, your group here, we'll turn off the guidance there. That's bad guidance. Get off of here. All right. So as your group kind of sets off into this effervescent mist, as you scale this small sort of rocky hill upwards, there is this crashing of sound coming from all around you as you look up and realize that this thunderstorm has seemingly come out of nowhere. This burst of thunder that rolls down the hill and lights the sky momentarily, revealing dark clouds that you had no idea existed. In this moment, you watch as the lights from the house flicker, as if they've been interrupted, maybe by something or another, but definitely something seems to be afoot. As all of you approach closer and closer to the lighthouse, you feel this dark sort of static, this energy emitting from the front of it, and you feel dirty, soiled, almost oily, your skin crawling the closer you get to this lighthouse. And finally, as you near it, you find a massive obsidian door, shimmering with what little light seems to be piercing through the clouds, but no way to actually open this door. No knob, nothing along those lines, simply a sleek steel sheen.
Gregory, can I roll an insight to see if I've come across something like this before in my travels?
So that would be a history check, actually.
That's right. I'm sorry. Oh, no, but I got -1 in history. Okay.
Hey, you know what? Even in -1, you nail it sometimes. So Ishta, you've been a member of the Fading Dawn for years at this point, and you would immediately recognize this as what's referred to as Thalian technology. This is an ancient, very strong, and powerful door powered by rune tech that is essentially sacrilegious. This is the kind of thing that the church sees and then immediately tries to destroy or apprehend if they can.
This door is evil, my brothers and sister. We must destroy this door.
Just the.
Well, how do we do that?
I'm sorry. How long have you been with the Fading Dawn? You think just the door is evil?
Well, specifically, this door has evil technology in it,
Yes.
and our faith will guide us to destroy the mechanisms, the hinges, the doorknob, if there is one, the door stopper, if there's one on the other side of that as well.
Mike, 1 second. Playing the 9 intelligence to exact proficiency. Go ahead and give yourself inspiration for that. Click that little box.
I
Okay,
love
wait.
it. So good.
Although no, couldn't Frida just kick the door down or something?
She could certainly try, but perhaps before we do that, I get do so in all of my travels. Surely I know something about opening these doors. Maybe there's a hidden lock or mechanism.
You know something about being a prick.
Or
If
you and that
Kratzy's-
mouth of yours.
Absolutely. There is definitely, you know how to open these doors. You've encountered them before, being kind of the resident expert on the arcane and things along these lines. You know that there are basically combinations. If you touch the door, as long as it has power in it, there will be little sigils that appear. And as long as you can enter the combination correctly, it's basically a locking mechanism.
Fantastic. Is Corvic aware of any of this?
Absolutely not. No.
Cool. So I act like I'm sort of studying the door just for a moment, and I say, I've encountered these doors before, Corvic. You just have to lick it. Straight down the middle.
I mean, I'll do what I'll have to do for the cause.
What heresy led to this door being opened?
I think we're about to find out. Corvic, are you going to lick the door?
I'll lick the door.
Absolutely. Could you, in your best author words, describe Corvic licking this door for us?
Give it to us.
So
All your
Corvic
pros, summon the
leans
might.
forward, sticks his tongue out, and like there's the slightest bit of spittle sort of dribbles down the side of his face, and he sticks his tongue on the bottom, and just sort of this slow, lingering movement up the door, and just like the taste is just like, is the door metal? First of all,
Oh, absolutely, yes.
this like metal, sour metal that's like on the verge of like a rusted. It's rusty, it's sour, it's got some iron going on with it, and Corvic loves it.
Oh yeah, you
He
guys
actually
are.
licks it a second time. It tastes so good.
Can he?
It's time. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Please with your
No,
reaction.
I was just going to ask, and this is such a stretch, but can he roll to see if that lick arranges the runes in the correct way?
Oh, I got you. So
Okay,
here's here's exactly what happens. So as Corvic sensuously licks the door that has been who knows where, maybe to the void itself, his tongue graces the metal as it slides along the very sheer and fortunately clear sort of obsidian finish. And the instant it does it, these runes, these just bright white runes, just appear in front of him as they light up the very area in front of you. And you watch with his tongue still on the metal, these purple veins rip into the runes, infesting them with this dark, nefarious energy as they pulse almost instantly. And the door, you can hear this wrenching coming from behind it, this high-pitched screech, as the door itself seems to try and resist it, as it physically rips itself open. And Corvic, you take 1 point of damage to your tongue as you quickly snap away from this horrid moment.
It usually doesn't open like that. Oh, Corvic, I'm so sorry.
It's usually not what happens with me tongue either.
You seem to have
What did
quite
we
a bit
just
of
talk about
practice with that.
harassment?
I mean, a man's got to do what a man's got to do.
I think I joined the wrong order of paladins. I feel like there might have been one that this would not happen.
Of all the Pontifexes to choose, you feel like this was maybe the wrong one at this point.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Ahead of you, just to explain what you're looking at, is not an entrance, as you would expect. You are currently looking at what appears to be some kind of swirling, inky blackness inside of this door.
So I do let Ishta know that this is not the usual occurrence. and that I apologize, and I just also apologize to Corvic because that's the kind of man I am. I shouldn't have asked you to lick the door. I knew how to open it. I'm sorry.
If Socrates, if we all apologized every time we got something wrong, we would be never-endingly we would be apologizing without end. You do not need to apologize. The fiend that made this evil door, and then the fiend who licked it, are the only two people who need to apologize.
I'm telling you, it tasted good.
I
You
do
want to
not
try?
care.
I suggest it.
But so once again, in my wealth of experience dealing with these kind of void issues, do I understand what this swirling dark mass is?
Very fortunately for you, Iphicrates, you've encountered this before. This actually is not something to do with the void. This is actually ancient technology you're looking at. This is what's referred to as a gateway by an old Thalia, which if you step inside of it, it will take you somewhere. You have no idea where, but it'll take you there.
Okay. I think it's about time we get going through there. So, personally, I just Corvic, did you move away from the door when it opened?
I don't know. I was just sitting by the door, wasn't I?
And then it just opened.
Well, he's still in front of it. Yeah.
Okay, I just give him a gentle push in. We're going.
Okay, Corvic, you feel the slight pressure on your shoulder. Do you step inside?
I'm going to look over at Frida and say, ladies first.
Well, I guess I'm going in first.
All right, Frida, with the only balls in the group, takes a step inside the gateway as you watch that sort of liquidy exterior almost subsume her as she dissipates within.
I suppose I'll go second, and I follow Frida.
Women taking charge. As Isha also steps inside, and the same thing happens.
I look over at Iphicrates and say,
Nailed it.
suppose I'm going third since you've got to go last.
I do need to go last to make sure that nothing nefarious follows us. You understand.
Bugger. And I go in third.
Okay, Corvic steps inside the portal. Iphicrates?
Yeah, I do a quick survey of the surroundings, and then I follow. With like
Okay,
a shake in my head. I'm just like, ooh.
You look to the left, to the right, watch as the mist seems to coalesce around you as you step into the portal. Almost instantly, all of you feel this unearthly chill sink down your spine, as travel by gateway is never pleasant. This overwhelming sort of miasma-like sickness infests your bodies, and it doesn't last long, as you are almost instantly transported inside the tower. As we are switching to our first map, you'll find yourselves on the very bottom right of this map. You will now notice that you have vision. Some characters have farther vision than others, so you'll be able to see a little bit better. The area you currently appear in seems to be some kind of landing platform with various runes inscribed into the ground beneath you, itself made of the same obsidian material. To your right, you see what appears to be a staircase leading up. But to your left, you see what appears to be you've all seen this before, a creature called a voidling. Almost goblin-like in its appearance, this creature opens its mouth, which is almost larger than its entire face. Its red eyes tilting to the side as it looks at you and goes, and then immediately rushes down the stairs.
Well, that was odd.
I mean, I'd have the same reaction to Iphicrates, but I don't know.
That's fair. So that's not good, and that sort of confirms what the feeling that we had about this. So,
absolutely.
We look around the room. Based on the layout, it looks like there's a staircase going up, and then the staircase going down that the voidling just ran down.
It seems to be the only available passageways in this where you've appeared.
Perfect. Seems to be.
No. Oh my. What does that mean?
Frida, darling.
Yeah,
what do you, since you will be the one going first, what do you suggest we do?
I was going to say that creature was probably guarding something. So I think if we want to find our Pontifex, we probably have to follow that little voidling. And unfortunately, I'll go first.
Frida, once again.
Oi,
I will.
Ishka, you call Frida darling and you get away with it. What's that about? Double standards, much?
It's just a cultural thing, Corvic. You wouldn't understand as you have no culture.
Boom, roasted.
Damn, nailing it. He is a vile Kavari after all. Those sons of bitches. Okay. Sounds like we have a course. You're headed down.
Sounds as such.
Yep.
All right. Once again, all of you begin to make your way following this strange creature. You can almost hear its padding feet in the distance, those ragged claws clicking on what sounds like hard stone. As you slowly begin to descend the staircase, Corvic, you actually notice this with your passive perception, it being particularly high. This tower is in extreme disrepair. It looks like it's old. No one's been maintaining it. The wood is scuffed. Some of it is rotting through. Some of it's infested with bugs, termites that seem to have taken up here inside the tower itself, giving you a little bit of an odd feeling about why such a powerful mage that would normally inhabit this tower would let this occur for such a long period of time. But with that in mind, you slowly descend into the basement of the tower and realize the staircase goes for maybe a bit too long. The spiraling wood slowly and surely turning into stone itself as you descend beneath the very earth. Eventually, you hit the landing and find that the basement isn't really so much as a basement as an entry to a series of caves. So we go ahead and move to our second map here. As you find yourselves at the very, this is a large map, so zoom out, you'll find yourself at the very bottom here towards the left center. As ahead of you, you see very much gray stone with the occasional drip of what sounds like water in the distance. Moving down towards the left side and then going off into the unknown. What would you all like to do?
Do we hear the voidling anywhere?
Go ahead and toss me an active perception check.
Perception. Ew. Well,
It's not an awful roll, but all you hear is that water kind of dripping in the distance. If this is a large cave, you imagine that sound might be covering up where the voidling is.
Does anyone else hear anything, perchance? Yeah, I seem to have lost the voidling in our slow descent towards the bottom.
If anyone else would like to try and listen, oh, there we go, tossing out those perception checks. So Ishta, almost instantly, you do catch a sound beneath the water, as if whatever is making it is very much accustomed to hiding their presence. And you can hear what sounds like scuffing very gently, or more like the sound of claws scratching against weakened stone in this immediate direction to your left.
I believe that whatever creature we seek is to our left. I hear the scuffling sound of claws on weakened stone, which can only mean that evil is afoot.
Perfect. Frida, go ahead.
Frida, go right on by.
Carry on, Frida.
Take the lead, girl.
All right.
Once again, I'll say something and everyone gets all pissed off about it, and then everyone else is saying the same thing and no one gets in trouble.
We're saying, Corvic, we're saying very different things. And honestly, now is not the time or the place. Okay, we're in a void spawn tower cavern, and you're complaining. And I started like losing it. I'm like, you commented on our ass. Ishta called her a darling, and I said, girl, what's your problem, Corvic?
Corvic, let me explain
It's
this
the
to you in
same
what terms you
thing.
can understand. Where I'm from, there's a creature called, it is a horrible creature that everybody blames everything on, every ill of our lives. It is called a scapegoat. And you are, my friend, what we call a scapegoat.
I do yacht goats. You know, goats are they're nice.
What goats have you been around?
I mean, of the ones I've eaten, they taste quite nice.
Can we leave him behind?
I mean, you can
Were
try.
you
He is your
were
healer,
you
though.
chosen? Were you chosen by the gods, or how did you end up here?
I don't know.
Ishta, he's a fantastic healer. He's just
I got
mentally
a big
there's something
spike.
wrong.
Corvic is the cousin of a very
Dave,
popular,
you're
very famous.
starting to sound like a Monty Python character.
He's a. I feel like Corvic is somehow a nepo baby. Like his like dad is a priest somewhere, and he's like, "Here, son, you're a priest too."
Corvic is a very close cousin to the ruling Liness family, who is essentially the Countess Liness is an archduchess of
There it
Cavari.
is.
So yeah, she is he's definitely an Nepo baby. That is for sure.
So
All right.
So we get to the source of the sound, or near enough to it.
Yep.
I think. with
So
Frida and
the only thing I'm waiting for, I was waiting for Corvic to maybe move his token here to keep up, or not. It's completely up to him.
Sorry, I've been on the other screen watching all of us and watching everyone make fun of me, and I was not.
You're all good. Okay, as it's a little bit hard for some of you to see, mainly Ishta and Corvic, who Ishta and Corvic, who eyes aren't really naturally accustomed to the dark, whereas Frida and Iphicrates can see pretty much just fine in these sort of conditions. But as you continue moving to the left, you see this almost kind of enclosed cave-like section, where Ishta, you're very sure, is where the sound would have kind of collected and echoed out from. Whereas to the very north, Frida, you can see what appears to be an expansive cave opening up, along with pools of water, which you're pretty sure is where that dripping sound was coming from.
I believe our target is somewhere in this cave. I mean, this specific, not the whole cave. This specific branch that I'm pointing to is where this creature is. I think.
All right, let me go in.
Thank you, Frida. Blessings.
Frida moving like a boss.
Uh-oh.
You all good?
Nah, my screen went white.
Oh, just refresh. That'll happen with
internet.
Roll20.
Tonight's episode sponsored by Roll20. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually,
well, you know what?
I was gonna say
No,
real quick.
go ahead.
Shout out to Jonathan Shortsleeve, who couldn't be here this evening. Bill, thank you for taking his place. Jonathan Shortsleeve had a little bit of personal issues, and he just needed a break for this evening. But he will be back in future episodes. But buddy, we all love and respect you, and can't wait to see you again. All right, continue.
All right. Looks like we got Frida
Yes,
back
sir.
here. So
All right, back in there. Frida's in the middle of the cave. Or this
Gotcha.
branch of the
Okay,
cave
so-
that Ishta apparently hears.
So Ishta, as you are the one who's kind of aware here, and Frida, I'll need a perception check from you. Just click on where it says perception under your skills.
I don't have
need help
very
finding
good
it?
perception.
It's okay. Doesn't
No, I
matter if it's
got
good or
it.
not.
I
Just
just-
gotta roll it. It's actually, yeah. So
I just click on
16 is
it, right?
actually, yeah. Just click on it. You got it. So 16 is a solid roll, actually. As you kind of look around at this interior here, and you notice these pillars here, where you see the little white pings, have very small holes at the base of them. But while you couldn't fit inside, a smaller creature, perhaps a voidling, might be able to scurry inside.
Oh, Bill, Greg Terral needs to be let back in. I think something happened with his StreamYard.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Do I need to make another perception check, Gregory?
Nope. If Frida saw it, then the rest of you could have very easily seen those.
Okay.
If she pointed out the little base of the holes under the pillars here.
Ooh. So we're
Holes
pretty confident a voidling is hiding in there.
Potentially.
Holes are where heresy loves to hide.
Yes, Ishta, ever the devout paladin. Thank you.
What is it? Everything you say sounds like something that's on a plaque somewhere.
I may have bought
So
an
who's the
inspirational
smallest
calendar.
of our group?
So
I don't think Frida can go in this one because too big.
I
okay,
believe
can
it's-
I conjure a mage hand to kind of shoot something out of that hole? Maybe. It's a cantrip.
Yeah, absolutely. So cantrips you can just kind of cast without expending any resources. As Iphicrates' mage hand, which looks very much like a mystical kind of hand wreathed in these glowing runes. Where would you like to cast it?
Right at the. So which hole was it that was sort of highlighted? Was it the one?
We're looking at this one right here.
Okay, perfect.
the one
Yeah,
you should
I'll
shoot
just
on.
cast it. I'll actually kind of move a little further back because it's good for 30 feet. So 5, 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So that way, if something does ring out, maybe it doesn't jump at me. So I'll cast a mage hand like right there on the hole.
Okay. So you do that, the hand appears, and as soon as the hand enters the hole, you guys watch as this little creature, very familiar to the one you saw before, a voidling, jumps out of the hole and goes, and just crunches down on the hand, and just absolutely does nothing to it because it's a magical hand. But as it stops and goes, dum, dum, nah, nah, it turns and looks up at Ishta and goes,
you would attack it.
Yes, I'm going to attack it with my my greatsword.
Oh no.
Absolutely.
Oh.
And as you, sorry, real quick, as you raise your greatsword, you watch as whatever it did might have been a call for others of them, as several more of those voidlings pop
no.
from pillars. And that's right, everyone. Time for combat. All right. So in order to make this
That
very
was
easy,
me.
if you click on your token and look at the very top left of your screen, you will see a button that says INIT. Just click on that, and it will roll your initiative for you.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Oh,
I do a lot on Roll20. It is a regular occurrence for me. Okay. As combat begins, Ishta, you're just about to take out your greatsword, but you're not the fastest on the uptake here. The fastest of you is actually Iphicrates with a very impressive initiative roll. As Iphicrates, you actually get to go first as you watch several of these creatures pop out of their pillars. What would you like to do in your turn?
So for my bonus action, if I'm remembering how many I've got 3 spell slots. Okay, let me take a look real quick. To the target, because I can't remember. You might remember off the top of your head. Can I move? Can Hunter's Mark be moved?
Yes, so Hunter's Mark is a concentration spell. You cast it, it's up for an hour.
Yes.
And then once you basically, the creature that is marked is reduced to 0, you can then move it to a new target as a bonus.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So I will cast it on it's not lit. There we go. On this one. I don't know if there's a marker you need to, yeah. And
I got you.
Then I will quickly draw my short bow that I had handy. And I will just take I'll take a shot at it. That's the one I marked. I rolled those.
You did indeed. So you rolled a 17
Okay.
for 10 piercing damage. You did it. You nailed it.
Wait, did it roll all of it at once?
Yes. So all you have to do is click on the short bow, and it will do everything for you. Now, the one thing you didn't do is there's a little Hunter's Mark global damage modifier. If you click that check on, it'll roll that for you. But for now, just click on the D6 and roll the extra damage.
Okay, it looks like it.
Perfect. Okay. If Akrates says you grab your bow, you very quickly knock an arrow. It goes right through the head of this voidling as you watch this shaft just pierce through it, one of its massive eyes, go out the back of its skull, and it goes "Gah!" and hits the ground with a very solid and dead thump.
That's why I'm the leader, because I kill things.
Okay, so that was your action, your bonus action. Anything else on your turn, Akrates? Any movement?
No, I'm gonna hang out back here. My bonus action was to cast Hunter's Mark,
Yep.
so I'm gonna. Well, actually, no. You know what? I will move just so that my allies within 10 feet of me can get some of this additional presence
damage.
buff. Yeah.
Okay. In that case, we are over to Corvic's turn. Now, Corvic, you can't really see very well down here. So while you hear murder happening, you can't necessarily see it. So what would you like to do?
Well, I'm gonna run forward to this bugger of a voidling up here. And I'm going to cast my Pica Stance as a bonus action.
Okay.
And
So you
then
grab your halberd and set yourself up.
I'm going to do the... What is it called? I'm going to, just, poke the bugger with my halberd.
Okay, we got a bunch. All right, all good. So you run up with your halberd out. You assume your stance on the line as you fought in a few battles in your time. Take that halberd and shove it right through the open mouth of this voidling, who once again just and then slams into the ground, dead on strike.
And I look at Hippocrates and say, "So that was done, mate."
Okay. Alrighty, it is then the voidling's turn. As you see these other two voidlings are on the western side, but from the north, you hear more scurrying of feet. As you realize maybe a few more might have been lurking in the cave above you. As the fast little bastards are going to take dash actions to enter the fray. Oh no!
Whoa. That was fast.
Well,
That's why they call it dash actions.
Oh yeah, because
that's special.
they are
That's
moving.
Roberti.
They're looking for blood. Corvic, as you are very quickly swarmed by these voidlings, except you may have a little of ability that'll give you a little advantage here, as there are several creatures entering within range of your halberd here. Would you
Right.
like to use your reactions?
Absolutely.
All right. Give me 2 attacks here with your halberd. Okay, so in a just raring slash, you bring this thing up. You take the axe head instead of the pointed spear of the halberd and slice it across 2 of these voidlings as they come up behind you. And you cut off the head of one and watch as the end of the axe head goes into the side of the other, as both of them just fall dead onto the ground as they are taken out before they can get even remotely close to you. Now, the rest of the voidlings are going to go ahead and make some attacks. Unfortunately for you, these voidlings have the ability to dash and then use their nom attack as a bonus action. As you watch as 3 of them, all 3 of these attacks are going to be on Corvic here. As the voidlings jump into the... Oh, no! God, coming for blood as the first voidling rolls a critical hit as it leaps into the air and grabs onto Corvic's shoulder and bites his neck for 12 piercing damage and 7 acid damage, which is 19 total. The other one also grabs onto Corvic's other side as they may be small and they go down fast, but these little bastards hurt. As you then take another 7 piercing and 4 acid damage from the other one. Now, I will update your token for you.
And a quick question. Does everybody within 10 feet of me have the empowering presence turned on for them?
Yes, on your global AC modifiers, make sure you have that empowering presence turned on, because that will help you immensely. And what's about to happen here?
Yeah, that's what I was just before. I know I wouldn't do anything to that crit, but for the rest of these attacks. I figured.
It unfortunately does not stop the second because these guys only have a +5 to hit, but they decided to roll like crazy and
God
take a
tier
huge
rolling.
bite out of Korvik. Now these other two are going to go ahead and try and do the same thing to Isha. As we're about to learn why Korvik is a midliner and not a frontliner. So Isha, with the empowering presence, that first attack you managed to knock away with your sword, and the second one you do as well. As that is the end of the Voidling's turns, and Isha, it's your turn.
All right. I'm gonna look at my I was gonna say dear friend, but my reluctant ally Korvik, and I'm gonna realize that maybe he could use a little bit of help. So I'm gonna move. Well, yeah, I'm gonna move right here. Does that provoke an attack of opportunity in 5th edition or no? If I move there,
It does, and the Voidling is gonna take it because that's what it
hold on.
does.
Okay. Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Oh, and you just step away from it. You're like, suck it. I don't care.
Yeah, I do not care, Voidling. The void can never conquer the light. All right, I'm going to before I make my actions, I'm going to. I don't know if this is even necessary. For my stances, do I have to do a strategy point to use those, or are those free?
Yes. So those are strategy points to use.
Okay, so it would just be like one strategy point per, and it's after a short rest I get those back.
Yes, after a short rest,
Okay.
they do come back. Yep.
I will use my deflecting stance just in case, because I'm afraid that Korvik, our main source of heals, will be having trouble. And then I'm going to look at the first Voidling, take my sword, and say, "To the void with you, thou foul creature, thou!" And I will try to smack it with my sword.
Oh yeah. You step aside, and this guy tried to bite you, so you retaliate by chopping his head right off his body, as this Voidling just drops.
And I believe I have a second attack, correct?
You do indeed.
Extra attack. Okay. And I'll look at the second one and say, "Join your friend, thou evil, thou evil." I don't have the words to say right now.
It's fine.
but
The next
you
time I
will
write
join.
Isha, she's gonna have thou in her vocabulary somewhere. It's gonna happen. Yeah, as you take a second chop and rip right through this Voidling, down from the top of his head through the bottom of his torso, it just is ripped into pieces.
See, Korvik, that's how you successfully deal with the Voidlings.
Okay, with a little bit of a Frida, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Where am I? Oh, I'm on the other side of Ishta, right?
Yes, you're right here.
Okay. So who we still got? There's 3, 4.
There's
them?
4 total. Yeah.
So I feel like even though he's sexually harassed me coming in, I should probably go protect Korvik because he has to heal himself. So I'm going to step over these dead Voidlings and get in between him and those Voidlings there to the north.
Okay. So in order to enter the Voidling space, you would need to do what's called a shove action to move it out of the way. That will take one of your attacks. Is that something you'd like to do?
Where is that at?
So that's just, there's nothing on the screen. Basically, you just need to roll your athletics check, and then the Voidling will also roll its athletics check to attempt to stop you now. But you are a thick pile of iron running against this Voidling, so I'm going to give you what's called advantage on this roll. So at the very top of your character sheet, you'll see an advantage toggle, a button that says advantage. Click on that.
Okay.
And then click on your athletics. Yep. And that will roll it at advantage. Oh, a 26.
Ooh.
I'm not going to even roll. This Voidling literally cannot beat that. So you hit this Voidling so hard. You shove him back into the wall and roll me a d6, and then we'll add your strength modifier to it.
Where's the d6 at?
So basically all you're going to do on the left side of the Roll20, you'll see a bunch of icons. At the very bottom, there's a little dice. If you click on that, you will then see a list of Ds, and then click on the D6.
Well, I'm sorry, where's this at on the screen?
It's okay. We're actually going to do this a different way. Do you see where the chat is on the bottom right of your screen?
Yep.
Okay, so in that chat, type slash, and then type roll, space, 1d6, and then hit enter.
1d6.
Oh, the slash key, and then slash roll 1d6.
Oh, the symbol? Slash?
Yes, the symbol slash. Sorry, that was my bad.
Space 1d6.
Correct.
I do think slash roll. Slash roll should be like an action move, like a slash roll.
Slash roll.
Something like that. Yeah, I like it.
It's funny. You type slash out of it again. It's okay. Let's do.
Oh.
Look like that.
Got it.
So yeah, just there we go. Nailed it.
There.
So as you move forward here, you slam this voidling up against the wall, and you hit it so hard that you hear the sickening crack as its back breaks as you hit it with that shove action, and actually kill it as you move it aside.
Jesus Christ! It's
Oh
Jason
my.
Bourne.
Perfect.
All right, that was one of your attacks. Would you like to take your second one?
Yeah, let me see what my sheet has again. What do I have? I have...
So you currently have your bearded axe out. You said you had your shield in one hand, your axe in the
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Did you say bearded ass? I thought you were talking about Dave.
Yes. My
Nailed
bearded
it.
ass is out. So...
All right, let's go ahead and see that. Roll that bearded ass. So it would be the soft gallant axe.
So what
Today's
do I hit
episode
then?
is sponsored by Manscaped.
What button do I press?
Just
Me
click
being
where it
new.
says soft gallant axe. Just click on that. It'll
Alright.
turn red. There you go.
Yep.
Nailed it. Okay. So you turn aside as you shove this voidling into the wall, and then it hit just impale the head of your axe into the head of the second voidling, which goes down without a fight. Well, a little bit
Hell
of a fight.
yeah.
And then we'll go ahead and end your turn there, Frida, if that's okay.
Yeah, but can I just turn back to Korvik and say you're welcome?
Absolutely, you can do
Ooh, a
that.
little sass. I like it.
My lady.
God damn it. Then
You're
we are at the
welcome.
top
Somewhat
of initiative on our
for that.
second round here. As if Krates, you're back up.
I was waiting for a follow up, and it was just milady. I did want to add real quick. I didn't want to interrupt the turn anymore. This is sponsored by Manscaped, and it's: Are you tired of voidlings in your subterranean? Anyways,
next episode is canceled because we just got a cease and desist from Manscaped, and
Yeah, absolutely.
we are being all sued.
you're like, hey, you guys can't do that. I think we just did.
The
I'm gonna
little
move
Wraith press was the one that said everything. Okay.
I'm a
Yeah, they
guess.
actually
Okay, guys.
paid me to say it. I'm gonna move my hunter's mark to this guy that's like kind of lurking. Can I see him? Is this
So
just
he's
a
currently
gap in the
around this
stone?
pillar here. So
Okay,
yeah,
that's a
he's
pillar.
currently not in your sight.
Sure.
He thought he was going to be smart.
So if that is a pillar, I'm gonna have to move a little bit then. I don't have any healing. What I'll do is I am going to sort of where I'm at, I don't have a line of sight on any enemies, correct?
Correct. You've got two pillars in your way. You can always move.
Then I'm going to bonus action hide because I'm a very stealthy individual, so I'd like to hide.
Absolutely,
if
yeah.
possible.
Roll yourself for me.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you are just immediately silent as you sort of disappear into the darkness and shadows.
And can I ready an action that if I see a voidling come into my line of sight, I'm going to try and pop its head with an arrow?
Absolutely, you can. So for those of you not familiar, to ready an action, it takes your reaction to hold your action to make an attack. So if something comes in your sight, you nailed it. So that'll end your
Perfect.
turn. As we shift over to Korvik, we're back to you.
All right. I going to cast Prayer of Healing on myself.
Unfortunately, Prayer of Healing is a 10-minute cast spell.
Oh, I forgot.
Not something you can usually do in combat.
Forgot about that.
I don't know what your character sheet is. You
Cure
got
wounds on myself. There we go.
There you go. Are you upcasting a second level or just first?
Second level.
Okay.
Gotta get
And
back.
for our viewers at home, rounds in Dungeons and Dragons, I believe, are 6 seconds.
That is correct.
So we would be talking about sitting here for 600 rounds. I believe I can't do math. I'm an English teacher. As we wait for him to pray.
Just like, all right, that's the session, everybody.
Yeah.
Corvic prays.
Corvic prayed.
Nailed it, Corvic. Okay,
Yeah,
as you
that's some
remember
great
how
healing.
deadly these little bastards can be as you close some of the wounds from the gouging acid running down your neck.
Mm.
All right, that was your action. Anything else in your turn?
I think that's it for this turn.
Okay. In that case, it's the enemies again. So this voidling who thought he was a smart little guy comes screaming around the corner. If Acrates, you get a shot off on him because you had readied your action at advantage.
Is it so? Would it? And I might be kicking myself in the foot since he's within 5 feet. Is it like a neutral roll? Because wouldn't
This
I have
would actually
disadvantage?
occur before he gets within 5 feet of you because as soon
Perfect.
as he rounds the corner, he enters your line
I'm
of
taking
sight.
that shot. Okay. And so there's this neat little tab at the top where I just click advantage and then it'll roll with advantage or no?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
so
perfect.
just where it says advantage, click on that, and any roll you make will be rolled at advantage.
All right. That's a lot of die.
Oh yeah, you very much turn, and as soon as the voidling turns the corner, that shaft goes right through its head. As 2 shots, 2 kills so far. As the voidling drops and does not get his turn.
Mm.
The last one is going to move 5 feet here and try to jump onto Ishta here for vicious vengeance against its fallen brethren as it jumps into the air and just is deflected off by your greatsword as you knock its ass back to the ground. And then Ishta, it's your turn. Maybe finish this up here.
How do these things work where I add a bunch of accuracy? And I guess that's not even necessary. I'm just going to hit it normally. I was going to try to be a show off.
So
I'm not even going to say thou. I'm just going to hit it.
just like whatever, man. This thing
Yeah.
sucks.
Did it? Come on. There we go.
Okay. Wow, I love this. Is my favorite thing about Ishta. Girl does damage. She takes that greatsword and just stabs it down for a 12 right into the voidling, who stops breathing almost immediately as you finish off the creatures. And we are once again out of combat, lost in the cave here.
Fantastic. We really showed them
Yeah,
what's for. Gregory, it might not matter. Would I have got, because I was hiding when I took the shot, should I have added sneak attack damage? Just for
Yes, you should have.
future
But
scenarios. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
anytime you have advantage, you can add sneak attack.
Okay. I'm assuming I've had experience with voidlings before, and I know that there won't be loot on these bodies, right? I don't have to be a loot goblin.
Yeah, they are the most common creatures of the void, probably the weakest. You encounter them pretty much in any infestation. They do not carry things on them. They basically have claws and they spit at you, and it's gross.
Okay, but the good news is that if we're seeing these things, we know that there's some sort of potential infestation going on, and it's our duty to resolve it. And I'm very proud of everyone for not dying. And I'm just looking right at Corvic because he's the only one who took damage.
Boy, once again, I'll get criticized for everything. You stick your fingers in a bloody hole and people attack us, and I'm the one who did something wrong?
No, I was
Corvic.
complimenting you for not dying. I don't understand why you're...
Cut the top of your hat off.
Holes are the home of heresy. That was a compliment.
Thank you, Ishta.
Getting very 40k vibes from Ishta over here.
I love the fact that Ishta is just so dumb.
Keep picking on Corvic.
No, it's not my fault. I have negative charisma. Like, I'm just coming across that way.
And I'm just dumb as a rock.
So, anyways, yeah, I think oh shit, we're moving. Okay.
Frida's just heading to the north.
Frida's going away.
Frida's over your guys'
No!
shit. She's just getting stuff done.
Frida's tired of Corvic blaming everybody, and then Ishta having to correct everybody. So let's just keep going.
Yeah, Frida's tired of the BS. And if I understood it right, she's from like a different paladin order entirely, right?
No, so you're all of the same paladin order. Ishta is just a little bit. She was raised as an urchin, so she's just maybe a little bit devoted.
No, I'm sorry. I meant Frida. Was she not of a different sect?
No, she is not. She's again same paladin order. She's actually just from a different continent. So she might be a little bit less. God.
She tolerates
words. I can't think of words. Verbal.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Lady of action.
Very much so.
Well, speaking of action, let's check out that hole up there. What's going on?
Okay, so speaking of heresy holes,
yeah,
there is something incorrect about this hole, and
as you guys make your way towards the north here, you begin to see these purple tinted veins of pure pulsing flesh that seem to be infested into the walls themselves, as if growing out of them, as this sort of organic matter has formed a door, very much like a sphincter, in front of you. As it's this fleshy like appearance is blocking a passage.
Oi.
Further to the north.
This is like right up Corvic's alley.
I got something to say.
Corvic.
I'm a good man and a good person, and I've never wished harm on anyone. And I respect all of you, especially you, Frida. I respect you so much, and I'd never do anything to hurt you. I'd like to roll persuasion here, or something along those lines.
Absolutely, yeah. You know what? Let's have you try and convince the party that you're not a bad guy. He was just born into money. That's his thing. He's lived a very privileged life. Yeah, he's fought in some battles, but he was surrounded by knights protecting him. You know what? He doesn't mean poorly, guys. He's trying to do his best. And if Acrotis, you definitely believe him.
I 100% believe him. I'm sitting here. I'm feeling bad about kind of rousing on him myself, dude. Holy shit, we're in it.
Corvic, maybe it's the ambiance of Satan's butthole to the north of us, but I feel as though we're coming closer as a group.
Mm-hmm. I've never felt closer.
You guys are me brothers and sisters, I suppose.
Okay. Let's go through the
time for Hippocrates to use that magic hand on that Satan's butthole.
So once again, relying on my immeasurable experience with all things magical, do I recognize the sphincter?
So you have come across something like this before. Basically, what you're looking at right now is a very intense infestation. Void infestation. Whatever is down here, it seems to have begun to spread into the very earth itself, which gives you very bad vibes. There is something most likely very powerful in this cavern, and it is actively spreading. But yes, you have dealt with these before. Essentially, these are just kind of the strange sort of aesthetics that void infestations manage to take. They're very flesh oriented, and it's never a good time.
So yeah, that would be a terrible shirt to wear. So would it behoove us to like light it aflame, anything like that? Is it like
you're not entirely sure if there are going to be consequences of that? You do know that these, if you approach it, it may open, it may not. Typically, the way that your Pontifex has dealt with these in the past is liberal application of fire. That tends to be his style.
Yeah.
So we don't want to use oil or.
Why wouldn't you oil it?
I mean, the thing is, you always oil it before you light it,
Yeah.
Put some oil on it, stick the fire in, let things happen.
Mm-hmm. I don't despite being somewhat magically inclined, it does not look as if I have a way to light a flame. So, if anyone else has perhaps a spell of some sort, we could try.
Oh,
If not,
don't
we
I
could.
got some kind of
I have-
sacred flame?
Ooh.
I have a tinderbox.
Yeah,
Sacred
Yeah.
Flame
Sacred Flame.
very much would create
Freedom
radiant
lights
fire.
everybody's fire.
Well, I gotta cook my porridge somehow.
Would you like to Sacred Flame the door there, Frida?
Yes.
Okay.
Just click
Why don't
on
you go
it.
ahead and click on it for me?
All right. Come on. Sacred Flame.
There you go. So this brilliant burst of sunlight erupts in the middle of the sphincter as the radiant energy kind of subsumes and consumes the flesh, as you hear a howling screech in the distance, as if something is not happy with that. But nevertheless, it does open the door.
Ooh.
As you can peer into the tunnel ahead of you. On the other side, you see the cave continues, but now there appears to be some strange pillars sticking out of the wall, collected in stringy flesh, leading the path forward as the infestation is growing in strength as you move.
Now, before, just in case, before we go through this door, I'm assuming this is where we want to go, but there was the other way. If anyone was interested in perhaps not stepping through the sphincter, I'm just putting it up.
Leroy
If-
Jenkins.
If
Okay.
crazed, one does not come across an evil sphincter without entering it.
What about this? What is it? I can see through this. This is like another alternate path.
Yeah, so what's going on here is that there is another opened door to the east of you, and what appears to be just a simple dead end with a pile of collected flesh to the north.
Oh,
It is, of course, also pulsating in the most glorious of ways. As you look down the other path, as you look down the other path and see what appears to be actually some man-made stones that are lining what may actually be an intentional pathway towards the east.
Okay, wait. Let's move as a group if we're gonna move.
Frida's done with your shit, bro.
Leroy Jenkins isn't staying behind.
So
I
at
have
this
a
point,
fucking buff.
I would like to also point out that
Oh.
Korvik, you have several means of healing, just to kind of keep you up to respect. So you have a feat called Healer, which means you are able to essentially use natural healing. And now you can use this twice per character per short rest with your specialization into it. So if you roll a medicine and then use one of your healing kits, you have 10 uses of your healer's kit, so you have to watch it. But doing so will heal you for half your medicine roll.
So I rolled an 11. So
Okay. So you would be able to regain 5 hit points off of that, bringing you back up to 43. So almost close to full. Okay. So as you kind of just do that while you're moving, Frida, you come to very much a fork in the flesh. As you see 3 paths that could potentially take you onward. To the south, there appears to be more of a flesh pile. Oh, gross. To the northeast, you see a little a pathway leading over this kind of large overhang, where there are these kind of swirling purple tentacles sticking out of the wall now. Whereas to the east, you see, very much a thicker collection of spider web-like void flesh infesting the cave.
I don't know if anyone else has something like sense evil, but is there a way that we can sort of do a vibe check to see where maybe all of this is emanating from?
Now, the further east you go, it seems the more the infestation is growing. So you can kind of guess, and this is just basic logic here, that if you continue to go in that direction, you'll probably eventually find the source here.
Okay, very good. So I would say east, like down this path, maybe, perhaps. Ugh.
Frida, you step into just this spiderweb-like pile of void infestation that actually squelches as your metal boots slam into it, and it's pretty
Gross.
gross.
Yeah, that's not fun.
So Ishta, you, as you get up here and approach the overhang, let's open this up sight-wise here. Oh, sorry, one sec. Sometimes you have to do weird thing with Roll20s to stop sight. You see what appears to be some kind of pool up to the northwest as it raids out into what appears to be more swirling tentacles and more of that kind of voidy veins. And then Frida and Ishta, as you continue up towards the north, you see this red here. Sorry, you're on an overhang right here. You see a couple things as you're making your way forward. First off, to your northeast, you see what appears to be another one of those black obsidian doors. Albeit this time there's some light blue energy, almost like consoles that we'd recognize in modern times, sticking out in front of it. To the northwest, though, you see this red, veiny-like spike vine adhered to the central kind of rock formation. And beneath it, you see a man who is most definitely unconscious, but wearing the robes of a traditional Kyrunian mage.
Well then, how do you get down there?
Yeah, how far down is it?
So the pool of water is 10 feet down from these little rock islands here. Right down here, this is just 15 feet down to this side.
And him being a Kyrunian mage, we know that this would be his tower, or the structure above would likely be his tower.
Most likely, this was the mage that probably was responsible for that tower.
Yeah. Or does he look alive?
He looks unconscious. You'd have to get a little bit closer to know whether he's alive or not, unfortunately.
I could give... Would I give two shits about this guy? Because this ain't a rescue mission.
Yeah, you're very close to the Western Wastes. Most people out here are considered heretics by the church, especially with this guy, his mage, his tower full of this magitech that isn't... You don't necessarily care if he lives or dies or not. The only thing you care about is whether or not he's a valid source of information.
Well, we could yell at him and see if who's got the strongest lungs. Korvik, is it you, Ishta?
Bloody hell! Fine.
I have rejuvenating shout. I could try to heal him with my words.
Hey, wake up!
Unfortunately,
he needs to be conscious to use rejuvenating shout because he needs to choose to use those hit dice. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
All good.
Step forward and say, "Oi! Oi, you under the red stuff! Oi!"
Korvik, roll me a perception check. All right, that's a 14. So, Korvik, as your voice kind of rings out over here, the mage doesn't seem to stir at all, but you do see ripples in this kind of brackish, black-tinted water. As you look down, you notice that, there's no way to see under the water, but this waterfall in the northwest here seems to be coming in with almost like sludge from wherever its source is. But you definitely see ripples emanating from about right here behind the rock island that this mage is pinned to.
I'll turn back and tell the rest of my crew, "Oi, there's something rippling in that gross black sludge over there. I'll say we go the other way."
Korvik, that might be the most astute thing you've said this entire expedition.
I'm very astute, you know.
So I'm all for maybe we can circle back to this. We don't need to investigate if there's something in the water. I'm thinking Mines of Moria, Lord of the Rings esque So I typically try to avoid the water where I can.
Wait, you know a lord who has rings? Like, what's that about?
It's yes, I do.
It's pretty common actually for most lords to have signet rings, so I mean it kind of checks.
Right.
Yeah, just because your
Yeah.
cousin didn't share them with you when you were a kid, Korvik, doesn't mean
Book it
you
off.
don't have them drink.
Boom.
Okay. So it looks like the group is heading to the northeast, where Port Ishta is just to the south down here.
Isha, did you want to go north? Did you want to go
Yeah,
south?
sorry. I was I have to switch between screens.
I see.
Oh, you're all good. You're totally fine. So as you guys make your
trying to
way
make
here,
a
you do
comeback.
come across that. Sorry, what was that?
No, I said Ishta was trying to come up with a comeback. That's what.
Oh,
Yeah.
unfortunately, the 9 intelligence doesn't always work the way she wants it to. As you guys come up to this massive black obsidian door, this one actually lined with what appears to be some kind of strange exterior wiring system, almost as if it's been hooked up to these some kind of power cables that do go into these strange consoles that are shimmering with this very light blue light.
Arcana check.
Yeah, roll it.
Perfect. Is it heresy for me to do? Oh my goodness. I've still had advantage on this whole time, so it
It's
should
okay.
be the 16.
Gotcha. 16 is pretty solid. What was that about heresy?
Well, I don't know if it's heretical for me to, if I understand this, to use it, or
So
if
for
it's-
most everyone, the answer would be yes. The very fortunate position you're all in is that you work for Pontifex Aluntir, who is kind of known for dabbling just a little bit into this kind of technology and situation, mostly so he can find out how to destroy it. While most Pontifexes would probably burn you alive for even considering using it, Aluntir is not worried about it at all. He actually encourages you to figure it out and learn how to use it.
hell yeah, brother. So I would like to use it.
Okay, so as a 16, Iphicrates, you peer at these two consoles and notice that they are also part of Thalian technology. Now, these are actively powered by whatever is behind the door, but it seems that there's some kind of lockout procedure, and you can actually read it because Iphicrates actually does read Old Thalian in your languages down here. As you were the only one that can read this. As you glimpse down at it, you see this an error message of some kind in giant letters, screaming error, and it says unviable contagion present in exterior.
I see. But nobody else sees or understands that, right?
Oh, they can see it, but they have no idea what the hell they're looking at.
Sure.
Thalian runes are logographic, and if you don't know how to read them, there's no way to understand what they actually mean.
Fantastic. We this behind this door, very important. Issue cannot get in there because of the external sort of void spawn. So what we are going to do is eliminate all the void spawn we see. So let's go. Let's do that. Let's do that right now. I am so amped to kill all
I
these
am
void
very
spawns.
for this course of action, Iphicrates.
You are my girl, Ishta. That's
All right,
it.
I'm in.
Hell yeah, let's kill stuff. On a side note, could I have a quick bio break?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've been playing for about an hour and a half now, guys.
Yeah,
let's take a 5 or a 10 if you need it.
Great.
And let's go ahead. Everyone use the
All
restroom.
right.
Get a drink.
I'll be
Well,
right
guys, our people out there, and if you have any questions or whatever, throw them in chat. I'm also going to take a quick break, fill up my water, just vibe.
We already know that Dave's back. Bio break, Dave.
What?
Bio break.
Bio break.
You
Take
need one.
5, 10. Get a drink. Use the restroom, by all means.
So, Greg, you said this is when in your book series?
So this is a couple years before the actual events take place. So this would have been happening before the whole layout goes on. And this particular event actually would play into one of the very important moments kind of later in the book.
Perfect. Dave,
Which
have
does
you
actually
read
feature.
Soul of Chaos?
Sorry, go ahead.
I have
No,
not, so I'm just kind of over here causing chaos.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Everybody
I did. I love the book. So
I appreciate that. If for this,
So-
obviously, those names, they mean a little bit more to you having read it with Aluntir and his whole deal when he shows up at Iskvar and how that's going.
yeah.
But yeah, this would be the event that directly leads to him showing up there and why he actually shows up there.
Oh, yeah. So a couple of people are late or came late to the party, Gregory. If you want to, can you do a quick intro to the Soul Chaos or the Lost Star or Litanies of the Lost Star series?
Oh yeah, I'm super bad at this. But so the Soul of Chaos, basically, it is a dark fantasy, kind of dark sci fantasy is really the whole thing it comes down to. Think more regionally located kind of 40K kind of, albeit a lot of the technology that you encounter in the course of that book is very much hidden and suppressed by people like the characters you're currently playing, Pontifexes and Paladins of the Church of the Sunstar, which is the kind of leading religion of the world. The world is very much connected at this point, and this sort of religion kind of goes out. But this is a known sort of thing. There's no question as to whether or not the Sun Lord is a real god. Like everybody's like, yeah, he's real. He's the sun. He's up there. We know it for sure. And one of the reasons they know that is because of something called the Desolation, which is where the Sun Lord literally sent armies of deadly angels and basically wiped out this incursion of the Void, which was literally eating and destroying the world. So what this takes place is approximately 1,000 years or so after that. And the Church of the Sunstar has been kind of making sure that that doesn't happen again. So they have individuals like the Paladins and the Pontifexes that hunt down these void incursions to make sure that doesn't happen. So that's actually kind of one of the things that we're focusing on in this particular module, is exploring those incursions, what happens in them, and how these characters kind of make their way forward. Probably with a little bit less banter, but it's D&D, so there's always got to be fun little banter in the background. But yeah, so that's kind of the gist of what we're working with here. And
Awesome,
I do see a
thank
question there. These are not all these characters do appear in the book, but most of them aren't named. They're simply there as paladins. So this is kind of me giving a little bit of a background on those characters that you see, and actually giving them faces and names. Where before, the only names you get are the Pontifex, who you haven't met yet in this module, and Ishta, actually, who you get a great deal of, a bit of in the end of the book.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah, she shows up in a very interesting way.
Yeah, you could say that.
I always want to say it, but I don't want to spoil it because it's kind of a big deal with what goes down into why she actually enters the general fray. That's kind of very towards the end where shit's going crazy.
Yeah, we'll just say that.
All right, I think we're still waiting on Dave. Okay, so a little bit more time.
All right,
It's
so
actually funny. So go ahead. Please go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. So how did we want to handle the break? Normally we go to about 11 with this. Did we want to go past 11, or did we want to stop at our normal time and then do a further part? What do you guys think?
11.
It's up to you guys. I usually run for 4 hours, so anything less than that, and I'm like, whatever. I'm solid.
We're talking 11 Central, 11 Eastern.
Oh, I was talking about 11 Eastern because
So that would be a half
I think I might
hour.
be the only one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think Greg, Bill, and I are all Central, right?
Yeah. I'm good to go for however long we need to.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can't commit to a second part, so.
So let's. I think we can do it like this. Does anyone need to stop at 11 Eastern? So in a half an hour.
I don't.
Okay.
Mike, you?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm getting a little bit tired, but we could always have like Ishta go off and do something if we needed to. And you guys can
How
continue.
about this? How about let's get to? There's a couple good stopping points here.
Maybe? Okay. Sure.
Any one of there's 3 basically areas that we could stop at. So let's get to that point, and we'll just stop there, kind of at a crescendo of action, and then
Sounds
we can,
good.
if you guys want to continue with this little module, we can continue at another time.
Yep, sounds good. I was going to recommend something similar, like we just play until we get to like whatever point, and then just kind of feel how see how it feels. So, I was listening the whole time while I was muted, and yeah, I absolutely loved Soul of Chaos. I think I've mentioned it a few times. It was one of the first indie books that I read when I first got into the scene. One of the first small press indie, and I was like, man, this is really good. Like, it set the bar pretty high for me. And then I think I got to Mike's book shortly thereafter, like not too long after, and I was like, man, this is good too. And I was like, yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of cool guys, or cool people I should say, in the scene who are doing like really interesting things.
And then you read Bill's book.
And then I read Bill's book, and I was like, man, Bill, what? No, I really loved it.
Let that be a lesson for all of you. Yeah,
I read
books,
Tana before I read God's Blood, and I was I already knew I was won by the premise. I was gonna like God's Blood, but like seeing that he was capable of writing a middle grade, and then it was interesting enough to keep my attention while I was surveying it for my nephew. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a good book. So.
And I do want to make it clear that Greg is going to read my book. It's on the list, so you will have read everyone here.
I'm absolutely never going to read Dave's book.
As we all stare at our TBRs and we're like, yeah, we'll get to it eventually. Oh God,
we'll get there.
No, it's pretty high up on my list. Alex was in the chat. I'm making my way through the Odilic Stone right now. I'm really enjoying it. Everything you've heard about it is true. It's a very wild adventure where a lot of stuff is happening. But I think I've got a few books. I think Envoys is pretty close. I'm trying to do it where books, I'm having a hard time getting to arcs, but I'm trying to do it where I'm not so far behind, if that makes sense. I'm trying to prioritize things that are starting to come out, or that have been out a little more recently, because then it feels a bit easier to get back to. Whatever. I know what I'm trying to say.
You're all good, man.
Let's
get back to some Dungeons and Dragons here. As we had left off with everyone being a little disappointed that they couldn't go through the massive tech door, which says, no, you didn't say the magic word.
But so ready to kill some of this void spawn.
So ready to kill. Yeah, you know what you need to do now as you start making your way back towards the southern tunnel, as these tentacles, they're writhing just a little bit as you step over them. Corvic 1 slightly caresses your ankle, this chill sort of cascading up your leg. I think it's maybe it knows about you, but you know what? We're not going to think about that. As all of you continue towards the southeast here, Iphicrates, as you're ahead at this point, leaving poor Frida towards the back, getting a little ballsy here, Iphicrates. You see to the southeast another one of those sphincter doors. This one is closed, though, and seems to be a little bit tougher than the others that you've seen. Almost like it's been reinforced.
Bill, are you moving my token?
I was.
I'm like, why is my token moving? Corvic's not going to the front line.
Corvic's learned his lesson. These things hit hard. They are scary.
Oh, so this is the door. I see.
Yeah, so the door to the northeast here. But as you come down here, oh no, you see this hallway that is just spindly loaded with this coated in this purple tinted flesh, veins pulsing and almost gyrating back and forth as Frida begins stepping on it, not giving a single fuck, as her metal boots sort of squish and squelch some of it, as you see a pustule kind of burst, as she just doesn't care and moves her ass past it. Frida, as you continue, and the rest of your group's like, girl, As you come to a stop out the edge of this tunnel, you see a massive portion of the cave open up in front of you, as there is this strange sort of fluid. It's definitely not water, but it's almost blood-like, as it pools and congeals in front of these masses of flesh and tumors that seem to be coalescing in the southeastern part of this huge cave. And in the distance, all of you think you can hear what sounds like mechanical breathing, a raggedy rasp echoing off the walls.
Oh boy. I'm gonna. Is there any like terrain that I could sort of like hide behind?
So fortunately for you, Iphicrates, one of your neat abilities is that you can hide behind another person.
Perfect.
So most of your companions are pretty big and wear pretty large metal suits. You, on the other hand, are pretty small and can actually use them as cover. So if you'd like to, you can hide behind Ishta and just make a stealth check and be hidden.
Yes, I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
As we.
All right. So once again, you descend behind Ishta, disappearing slightly in the shadows, as her pretty considerably large form hides you from anything in front of her.
Perfect. Okay. And I'll just I will be her shadow as we move through. So I'll just, wherever she goes, I'll just be one space behind her.
Absolutely. Frida, as you continue to move, and Ishta and Korvik as well, you begin to hear that breathing almost become more intense as you go, this ragged sort of coming from the southeast as Frida just makes her way down there. And as you get close enough, why don't we go ahead and stop moving our tokens for a minute? Frida and Ishta, as you see it. Well, Ishta, actually, you can't. Your vision isn't large enough, and none of you thought to light a torch, which is actually really funny. As Ishta and Iphicrates, you can see what appears to be this strange sort of being captured inside of what may be, again, that red kind of veiny like tentacle. As you see this very odd, almost collection of angelic cloth, almost a filthy burial shroud with a face covered within.
Don't like that.
Korvik, did you see your little secret before we started?
Oh, dude. Don't
Something,
secret?
something about that. Oh yeah, we've got secrets. Korvik, something about that creature just appeals to you. You can't explain what it is.
Bloody hell.
He's gonna lick it.
He's gonna lick it.
If I lick it, will I die?
Were you asking that out loud?
I mean, it was in the accent, so I'm pretty sure he just did.
Korvik, I need to remind you, I was making a joke earlier about the door. Do not lick that thing.
The door tasted really good.
You know what? Lick this puddle and then tell me if you think it's going to taste good.
My brothers. Sometimes we hear these things. We have these temptations that come and they try to overcome us and they nag at us in the back of our minds. And that can be the first sign of heresy if we let it. But we will not go down that hole. We will not open that blasphemous door. We will instead hit whatever that thing is with our swords.
Wait.
You know, I should have named this module "Holes of Heresy." That was my.
The Holes of Heresy. I love it. Well, Ishta, I wholly agree with you, but you can't spell heretical without I hear. I hear. Here.
Are you telling me you're a heretic right now, or
I'm telling you that you got to be cool.
About what? I'm not cool.
Easter, listen up. Part of the fun is trying out all the heresy to see what it's like, and
So
then
that we can
saying,
beat it.
"No, it's not for me." But it was kind of fun while we did it.
Is this a Paladinial Rumspringa that you are inviting me along on? How dare you? You must be the source of that. You've been the horrible tempters that have been.
No, I've
nagging
just
at
been the
back of
whore.
my-
I mean, wait, what?
Paladinial
Yeah,
Rumspringa.
If I haven't given you advantage yet, or inspiration you now have 2 stacking inspirations from Paladinial Rumspringa. That was a stroke of genius. Love that.
I think as I hide behind Ishta, not cowering, I'm just hiding. I think we should maybe try to either A, investigate that, or B, put it out of its misery if it needs to be put out of its misery.
How about I go up to it
Mhm.
and make that call for all of us?
Well, I think I'm the leader, and I'll make the call, Ishta, okay?
Well, yes, but you said heresy I hear, and that, what's that about?
It was a play on words.
Frida, what do you think? Am I?
I'm with Ishta on this one.
You're with who?
Let's go. With you.
Oh, with me. Nobody
Ishta.
ever agrees with
Yeah.
me.
Ishta, I agree with you all the time. Shush. Keep going.
Ishta,
Well,
it's
guys,
Bacardi
since I have been designated the executioner of whatever this evil thing is,
I don't know that it needs to be executed. Can we feel any aura off of it?
just so this happen.
Nothing quite yet. Ishta's already stepping over the mountain of
I'm her shadow.
tumors here
I'm there.
and flesh. As she makes her way past the hill of death. As the 3 of you, Corvic's like, nah, I'm not going to lick it, approach this strange creature. And as you do, as you get within 5 feet of it, you watch as the shrouded face, its eyes, its head turn towards you from beneath this burial shroud. And you can hear that death rattling whisper. This creature almost turning and reaching out towards you, its hand extended through the veins, as it seems to be reaching towards both Ishta and Frida.
Don't
Now-
let it touch you. Don't do that.
All right, I'm gonna
None
hit
of
it
you
with
have
my.
ever seen anything like this before. Sorry, what was that?
Oh, I was gonna hit it with my great sword.
Okay, Ishta, roll an attack for me.
How do I use the global +10? Is that something I can just be like, hey, let's do it?
Yes, so essentially the way that works is that's from your feet. Now, you have an altered version of Great Weapon Master. It's called Great Weapon Adept. So essentially what you can do is you can subtract 1 from your attack, and for every 1 you subtract, you can add 2 to your damage. So you can do that up to as many times, up to +10 damage as you want. So you can kind of vary for your risk reward scenario. So if you would like to, as this thing is pretty much imprisoned, you can add that +10 and just go to town with that sword.
All right, well I'm gonna do that
Whoa.
Titan stance.
I'm just not strong enough to stop her. Is the issue also like I physically?
If I click the box, and then click my weapon, is this what I'm doing? Is this how I do it, or do I click the?
Click the check mark next to the +10, and then click on your weapon attack. Oh, you just did the -5 to attack. You didn't do the damage.
Oh, I'm sorry. So that's a +10 to damage.
Yes. So click on the, and then if you want to do Titan stance as well, that would give you an additional 4, as that's on your damage modifiers as well.
So 29.
29 damage. Ishta, as you, this hand is like reaching out, like desperately grasping towards you, and you take your sword, and you're like, nope, and just slam, and just swing it down with this furious strength as you lop the hand of this creature off its body, and all of you hear this screeching, this squealing, this divine static of wailing pain. as the creature itself begins to these holes of energy appear within its surface, and you can almost see a strange mechanical interior made out of blindingly white clockwork as it begins to mold, and this light explodes outward as it instantaneously erupts and is destroyed.
Is there like an area of effect damage or no?
No damage. You are momentarily all blinded, though, as that radiant light that reminds you somewhat of the Sun Lord itself. As that light bathes the area, and from within the tumorous hills, you can hear some coming from within. As you watch, as your vision slowly returns, creatures rip themselves out from the flesh as if being births from the energy poured out from this celestial prisoner. As you see this being rip itself out, made out of plated, sort of natural chitinous hide, adhered to this freshly malleable flesh. As they look hungry, and you all might be their next meal.
And we can tell they're quite a bit bigger than the voidlings.
Oh, yeah. Yes. They are about 8 feet long, and probably, even though their bodies kind of crawl along the amalgamated flesh beneath you, or still stand about 6 feet high, as they have massive, strong, rippling arms with massive claws on the end of each arm, and they exhale this cold, deathly energy from their maws. As I think, because it's kind of late here, and a combat typically takes a while, this is one of those moments where I think that's where we're going to come to a pause here, so Mike can get some sleep. And
thank you, guys. And I apologize. Oops, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I think there's just a good pausing place to pause.
Well, I agree. I honestly had a great time. I love the map. Who did you say did the art for the maps and the stuff?
Yeah, I didn't think anyone was going to be looking at these, but these maps are from a group called 2 Minute Tabletop, who I buy maps from all the time. The incredible resource, absolutely amazing. The scene earlier was from a group called Seipaku, which I'm pretty sure I pronounced that wrong. CZE. And then Paku, and they do a lot. They have lots of scenes and maps for purchase, and they are fantastic resources for any DM out there.
Yeah, I mean, these very beautiful. Very good, very clear style. I really enjoyed the dungeon dive. I enjoyed the world. And this, guys, if you've never seen the shows, where we'll talk a little bit about ourselves real quick, where you can find us and things like that, and then we'll leave you. I think this will definitely be a 2-part because I'm very eager to jump back into this. So let's first, Bill, tell us again, what are you currently working on, and where can we find you online?
You can find me easily on the website Willow Wraith Press, which is the host of this lovely game. And you can get the access to all our books, which is mine, Dewey Conway's, who I co-wrote the Tana book with, Mike Roberti, Tim Wolf, and Andrew D. Meredith. And also, I am a part of that Secret Scribes group that Dave and Greg are in. And there's 13 of us, so we're all over the globe. And we're finally starting to make some waves as a group, I think. Most of us have books out or about to be out. So look forward for all those. But I am currently working on the sequel to the book you're not going to be able to see because it's green and I have a green screen. See if I can get it in front of me. As Alex likes to call it, the Goose Blood tragedy, but it's God's blood. I'm working on the sequel, and today I just got my first look at the cover of it. So I am quite excited because I got the best in the game, in my opinion, Felix Ortiz working on the cover. So looking forward to that final one. Then it's going to be a stunner.
It honestly, it is one of the best covers I think I've seen him do. It's just the sketch. It's really, really good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be. I can't if he makes it even better than the sketch already is.
Mhm.
I can't wait to blow this bad boy up and put it on my wall. Like it's
Right.
it's so good.
Because unrelated to the cover design, we had just talked a little bit about like force perspective and things like that, and like a concept that I had, and then seeing like that kind of without describing, seeing the way that he did it for that, I was like, that is fantastic, because it really adds a level of like dynatism. No, like it makes the art look more dynamic. So
Yeah, it's a cool look, and we were talking about it in our chat earlier. It's not a visual like an angle you typically see for these covers. You typically see the hero, looking at something. This is the exact opposite, which is kind of cool.
And for those of you at home, you're gonna have to wait a little bit to see that, but I'm sure there will be a cover reveal in the coming months. And Dave, what was that, Bill?
Going or Bill?
I said, yeah, definitely gonna.
Oh yeah, okay, gotcha.
So,
and then
Dave?
Dave, what are you currently working on? Where can we find you?
All right, so I am not currently working on the first novel because I sent out arcs last week, and well, it's in proofreading right now, so I will probably be working on it again here in a few weeks to like make any final changes that need to be made. But I am currently thinking about book 2 and thinking about a prequel novella that I have not actually worked on since I finished getting these arcs out. So I will be working on something. I just have to actually do that. I'm also working on the one-act play at my school because I teach English and I am a theater director, and I have been at rehearsal every day this week. So that's the main thing I have been working on this week. But you can find me at, I think it's D Lawson Author on all of the socials. My website is davelawsonauthor.com. And contrary to popular opinion, I don't hate Bill. I just like to make fun of Bill. It's part of my vibe.
All right. Well, vibes are important. Yeah, all love here. And GJ, Greg, Terral, tell us about yourself, or not yourself, but what you're currently working on, where we can find you.
I just want to mention Dave's novella is The Prawns of Chaos. It's about shrimp. I have not forgotten. But yeah, I'm working on a few things. I'm getting the arcs ready for book 2, which I'm doing, like I said, a title reveal on the 1st of September. Bill was gracious enough to do like some very early feedback, and I think it's ready for that first round of arcs. And then I'm drafting book 3. I'm 50% of the way through with that, and it's going along pretty steadily. And then I'm commissioning covers for everything and starting to outline a new series, which I've been toying around with a lot. So I'm staying very busy. And you can find me on all socials. My social handles are kind of weird because initially when I started this whole journey like 2 or 3 years ago, before I actually published my novel, I was like, oh, I'm going to have this platform and it'll be Stationary Momentum and we'll call it StatMo for short. And it's like, oh, because, you're writing a lot, but you're not going anywhere. And so that was like a play on that. And I just didn't set up a new account or anything when I finally launched my full-length novel. So everything's under StatMo for the most part. Some things are under GJ Terral, and it's just a mess, and it's pretty unorganized, but that's the energy I bring. So that's where I'm at. That's it.
Right. Well, I get you. Mine are like 2 plays on my like different ways of doing my name, and I probably should have just kept it the same. Gregory, our wonderful DM, what you got working on, and where can we find you?
Thanks for coming, everyone. Honestly, running on stream has been weird but fun. You can find me by just my name. So my website is my name, GregoryWunderlin.com. It'll take you right to all my stuff, my access to my TTRPG stuff, which is typically third party for 5th edition, which I need to update. Thanks, Wizards. And of course, I'm actually working on my own TTRPG system right now called Lore, which may or may not stand for llamas orating rigorous exercises, but you'll have to find out what that actually means, which is something that is essentially a 6th edition D&D, kind of, sort of, but for legal reasons definitely is not, based on the SRD more than anything. So that's going to be coming out within, hopefully soon. The rough draft will be done within a month or two, and I'll be shifting that out for anyone interested in beta testing and kickstarting and all that fun stuff. The Soul of Chaos is always available. My publisher reached out, and they're going to finally be doing an audiobook version of it, which is pretty cool. And it recently got picked up for a BookBub deal internationally, not for the US, which is funny, but if you're anywhere else in the world, you can get it for very cheap on BookBub, which is pretty neat. But yeah, that's basically what I've got going on. Mostly I'm only active on Twitter and Discord, and you can find me on Twitter at gwritespretty, all one word, and that should come up with my various shenanigans. Mostly talking about TTRPG stuff, bitching occasionally, and that's really it.
Well, there you go. And as always, I'm Mike Roberti, your host, Michael Roberti. If you look for my books, I'm the author of the Crown Tide series. A Grave for Us All came out in April or May. I'm hoping to have some news I can share pretty soon about some things that are happening. I'm also working on book 3, Until Worms Remain, for that series, and The Unclaimed Girl, a fantasy psychological horror that is in the same world as the other novels that I've done so far. Thank you guys for coming. I hope you had a good time. I can't wait to follow this one up. Tell Greg how wonderful, or Gregory rather, how wonderful he did. Say bad things about Corvic in the comments. We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye. You know, they could also tell Greg how wonderful he did.